Hey guys, how you doing? It's Andy Elliott. I'm here today with my man, Tony Clyde.
How's it going, guys?
Guys, Tony is going to be working with me through negotiations today on the payments too high. Now look, Series 1, this is one of a 4-part series. We're in Series 2 now. This is on the payments too high. The last video we did the prices too high. This is going to be the payments too high. The next video, Series 3, is going to be I want more for my trade. And Series 4 is we need to think about it or we'll get back with you during negotiating, okay? We're going to teach you how to handle those things at the table. So we're at Section 2. Now listen, you may say, Andy, I've seen a video before where you showed me how the payment was too high. Let me ask you this. Do you got it down yet? Can you close every single customer when you sit down at the table and they say the payment's too high? Can you close them? Do you understand how to fully use money justification? Well, we're going to teach you today, okay? And I'm going to teach you 5 different ways. Before I get into that, here's what I want to do, okay? Guys, here's my cell phone, 918-210-0254. We've been selling a ton of courses. And by the way, 110% satisfaction rate. 110%. Guys' lives are changing overnight. Not only are they making more money and killing it and becoming a 1%er, it's the best money they'll ever invest. We want to give away 3 courses, okay? And Tony, tell them how we're going to do it. What do they need to do?
Okay, so first of all, we need people that want to come in, get 3 courses, text a video of why you need the course.
That's all we
want.
want.
Why is it going to change your life?
We want to help everybody. Listen, at the end of the day, money doesn't mean everything, okay? What matters is us helping you crush it. So we want to give away 3 free courses. It's just simple. You shoot me a 1-minute video or less, which everybody can send a 1-minute video or less on their cell phone to 918-210-0254. In less than a minute, tell me why you need the course. We're going to sit back. We get a couple hundred. We're going to find 3 people. We're going to shoot them the course, and we want you to start training, okay? We're grateful for you. We appreciate you. If you're interested in getting the course and it's something that maybe you don't have the means to do at this time, shoot us a video. Tell us why you need it, okay? All right, let's get back to the video. So check this out. What I did is, and by the way, let me slide over here. On the payment closes, I'm going to talk about a gas close, a warranty close, a dealer benefit close, and then a credit card close and a credit close. Now, I may not go real hard into some of these. Some of you guys work in great credit stores, so you don't get a lot of bad credit. But I'm going to tell you, if you work in a dealership, you see all types of credit. Some of you guys work in subprime zones where you get a lot of bad credit. So when I start talking about a credit close, like you're going to be like, man, I need that. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, how to leverage it. Everything in life, when I say the term money justification, it means how to justify where that they're spending money on their vehicle that they wouldn't be spending it on yours. It's called money justification. Listen, anybody that's incredible at closing, anybody that's a great negotiator, remember, and this is negotiations and closing 101. So this isn't like advanced selling. I'm not teaching you anything like the psychology of selling and how to just use massive context and use like 20 different styles of closes. I'm teaching you the basics. Once you learn these 4-part series on negotiating, then me and you have something to talk about for getting into serious growing on going to the next level, okay? So this is the foundation of the house. And once you get this down, you're able to kill it. So I'm gonna go over these 5 different ways. What I did is I picked a vehicle here. This is the car the customer's gonna be buying. It's a 2018, sorry about that, I mean flip you off, 2018 Kia Forte, 20,000 miles. The customer's going to be trading a 2013 Kia Sorento, 65,000 miles. So we got an 18 Kia Forte, 20,000 miles, 13 Kia Sorento, 65,000 miles. Now look, I always look at what the customer's paying now. So I wrote it here. The customer's paying $250 now. The payment's going to be $599 a month. Okay? Just made that up. Why? Because my goal is that Tony's going to tell me the payment's too high. And it's going to be about $300 too high. But I'm going to show you how to handle it. And we'll just go through this step by step, okay? So, in the beginning, I would be like, hey, Tony, all right, so buying your 2018 Kia Forte, the car that you love, trading your 13 Kia Sorento, you're paying right now this at payments of $599 a month. Sign here, and I'll get your new car cleaned up.
Andy, thank you, but I think that payment's a little too high for me.
Okay, awesome. Always neutralize the situation. I understand. How close to $599 can you come, Tony?
I could probably come up to about 300.
In a seated position, everything is written. 300, awesome. And what are you currently paying on your trade-in?
$250.
Cool. So it shows me you can comfortably afford about 50 more for your new car. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Now stop. I want you to think about this. Any confrontation here? No? Any nervousness? Any wall coming back up between me and him? No. So what do? In a seated position, I flip the paper over, and what do? I get ready to close them on the backside. So I'm going to draw a line underneath this, okay? And we're going to call this the backside of my sheet of paper, my worksheet. And I'm just going to basically do this. All right, Tony, this is your old car. This is your new car. And what I'm going to do is I'll write down the $250 payment Tony's currently paying. I'll write down the $599 that the new car is. I'll never say it, I just write it. And then I'll write the 50 more that Tony says he can afford for a new vehicle, okay? Now remember that 50 more. That's gonna play out. So you always wanna get that here if they can pay more, and then you wanna write it there. Because in money justification, that's another avenue of money to take. So follow me, don't get lost. All right, Tony, so this is your old vehicle, that's your new one, and I'm gonna write the 50 more you said you can pay for your new vehicle. All right, so 50 more, roughly how much do you spend a week in gas? 13 Kia Sorento, 50 bucks?
50 bucks.
Cool.
$50.
Whatever Tony says, remember, you can't tell him how much he spends. Tony says how much he spends. So we're gonna use just an easy number. Let's say Tony says, I spend 50 bucks a week in gas. All right, cool. You see how I label that out? It's pretty simple. 50 a week in gas. And Tony, you'd agree there's 4 weeks in a month.
Yep.
Right? Cool. So it roughly shows me on your old vehicle, you spend about $200 a month in gas.
Right.
I'm gonna bring down the car payment of $250. That's how much you pay to the bank. Is that right? Tony, that roughly shows me about $450 a month is how much it costs you, we'll just say to own. Pretty simple, to own your old vehicle. You work hard for your money, right?
Right.
You put your money in the bank, right? And I draw a little picture of a bank here. Put your money in the bank. When the money leaves the bank, that's the real money spent. Would you agree?
Right.
So whether you bought my new car today or not, $450 is what it's costing you to own your old car.
Right.
Cool. Now that I make that point, Tony is no longer now on payment, Tony's on ownership payment. So what will I do? I'll transition on my new car into ownership payment. All right, Tony, so on your brand new vehicle here, right? Would you agree better gas mileage, less money spent?
Yes.
Cool. So I'm gonna take the 50 a week you spend in gas, cutting it in half because you're gonna get double the fuel mileage, it goes to 25 a week in gas. Pretty simple math. There's 4 weeks in a month, just like we did over here, Tony. That shows me your new car is gonna cost roughly $100 a month in gas.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring down the $599 payment that you would be paying to the bank, and I wanna look at the total ownership cost, what it would cost you for your new car. That's $699 a month to own. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Cool. I'm gonna take the $699, what it's gonna cost to own the new car, and then we've already looked here, $450 is how much it's costing you to own your old car, right?
Right.
What does that come up to? Roughly about $249 more.
Right.
When you came in here today, right? It's actually not that. When you came in here today, you said you could comfortably afford about 50 more for a brand new car. Is that right?
Right.
Cool. So it's going to be about $249 more. You said you could comfortably afford about 50 more. I'm going to take that 50 off, and it roughly shows me that this car is roughly about $199 more than what you were prepared to pay. Tony, it's not. Let me explain why. On your old vehicle, on your 13 Kia Sorento, it's out of warranty. Is that right or wrong?
It is.
Cool. Guys, in a seated position, what do? We write it down. So guess what am I doing here? I'm writing down no warranty, okay? Now Tony, since your car is out of warranty, the national average, what it costs to maintain a vehicle that's currently out of warranty is roughly about $2,400 a year. Let me explain this to you. This is a timeline of a year. Now watch, you guys have to sell intangibles, okay? I'm going to sell Tony now on the $2,400 so that he'll understand it. By the way, $2,400 is a real number. Matter of fact, if you get into diesels and stuff like that, it's way higher. So $2,400 is actually a low number. So Tony, at $2,400, basically, let's say in February, right? I don't know, let's just say your fuel pump goes out. Well, with labor and parts and stuff like that, let's say it costs $1,000, end up putting your fuel pump in your car. And then your 13 Kia Sorento, it's only got 65,000 miles. Let's say it drives perfect. You know how it goes 10, 11 months, nothing breaks, beautiful car. But then guess what happens? In December, it's cold outside, let's say the heater core goes out, right? You gotta have a heater in the winter, you got kids, right? Well, guess what? It costs $1,000. Parts, labor, guess what happens? Well, that 1,000 and that 1,000, that's roughly about 2,000 that you would spend. Now I'm gonna explain this to you. I take at that point, and I say, hey, it's Tony, so I take that 2,000 you'd spend. Since we're talking about a budget and a monthly budget, I'm gonna take that and divide it by what? 12 months in a year. And that roughly shows me about $180 a month in a small maintenance payment. Tony, that's money that you have to budget for in your old vehicle when something breaks, because you don't have a warranty, you have to pay for it out of pocket, right?
Right.
Right. So if I take that 180 and I compare that to the 199 more that the new vehicle is, guess what? As long as, Tony, I could show you a full warranty on this brand new vehicle, guess what? If the motor went out on this 18 Kia Forte, and I'm just saying you're driving down the road, it costs $10,000. I don't care how much it costs you. Nothing, Tony. It costs you nothing.
Right.
Matter of fact, it's still under bumper-to-bumper warranty. If you're driving down the road, and I'm just going to say, let's say the power window goes out. How much does it cost you with 20,000 miles? It costs nothing, Tony. So guess what happens? It has a zero ownership cost. So since you're spending a budget here, and you're not going to be spending a budget on your new car, guess what? I take that 180 from the 199 that it looks like this new car was, and guess what? It looks now that it's only about $19 more than what you're prepared to pay, because everything on the car is paid for. You don't have any ownership costs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Watch this. At this point, I would do one of two things. I would say, Tony, at the end of the day, can't you see yourself paying $19 more in budget to buy a brand new vehicle? And I could put my hand out, right? I could say, hey, Tony, for less than $1 a day, did you think you'd be driving out of here in a brand new vehicle? I could say that, or I could go to the next level. So watch, let's move over here. I went through the gas close. I went through the warranty close. All right, you see where it says dealer benefit here? This is where I would use this. So some stores, you know where you're at, you know what you have. What does your dealership stand on if it has something? Hey, some guys are like, man, my dealership don't give nothing. Guess what? All right, cool, you can't use this. But if your dealership gives nitrogen in the tires, use it, okay? Guess what? If your dealership gives oil changes, use it. If your dealership gives engines for life, use it. So let's just say you work for a dealership that has engines for life, or let's use something small like oil changes. Let's say they give you your first 2 years oil changes, right? I would ask this, Tony, let me ask you this question. You probably change your oil what? Every other month?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that? How much it cost you to change your oil?
About $50.
Cool.
$60.
Cool, and you do it 5 times a year.
Yeah.
So it shows me you spend probably about $250 a year changing your oil.
Right.
Is that right? And that, I'm showing your trade-in, you have to continually pay for your oil changes.
Yes.
Well, you're not going to have to do that on your new car. So I want to explain something to you. You know that $250 you're paying a year? $250 right now, you're not going to be spending that no more, are you?
Right.
No. If I take that and divide it by 12, what is that? It's enough to cover that $19, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's some money left over. Take your wife out to dinner in there. You see this hand fixing to go out and shake his hand? And then I say, Tony, so doesn't it make complete sense of trade and it's super affordable? Absolutely. And when more stuff breaks on your car, because it's a 13, there's 1,000 working pieces on a machine. When something breaks, you're not going to have to pay for it, but it's paid for in my car. When gas goes to $5 a gallon, Tony, when it goes to $5 a gallon, your new car is going to get paid back at the pump. Your old car to cost you more, right or wrong?
Right.
Save, save, save. Save, save, save. You guys see it? It's that simple. Am I saying, Tony, could you pay up to, no more than, meet me in the middle, reward yourself, your wife's worth it? Am I saying any of that? No, because I don't need to. It's called money justification. Now listen, let me explain this to you. This works. I close with it all the time. Tony, when Tony was a salesman and worked in a dealership, Tony closed with it all the time. I can outclose 99% of the managers with these basic closing skills. NADA in 2019 said most salesmen know 1 close, managers 2. That's embarrassing, okay? During this negotiation period, I'm teaching you 5. And guess what? This is just getting warmed up. So whenever you see this now, just merely watching the video and say, oh, I'm going to try that. Can I ask you a question? Can you do it as good as me? If you can't, you have to practice. Repetition is the mother of skill. The first time that I learned money justification when I was young, dude, I went out, tried it on a customer, and the guy said, hey, you're an idiot. And I was like, well, that doesn't work. And then guess what happened? The guy that trained me said, all right, do me a favor, pitch me, show me how you did it to him. Like, go over it with me. And I sounded like an idiot. The guy was right. I sounded like an idiot because I didn't practice it, okay? How stupid was I to think that I was just going to walk out there and close it? So you know what I did? I practiced over and over and over and over and over. And I ran into him about 2 months later. And I said, hey, come on, let me try that again with you. Guess what happened? Bam. At that point in time, I understood and learned that, man, he was my teacher and he was great. But now that he showed me that, he taught me a lethal skill that I had over all these other salespeople that were too good to learn or tried it once and then quit, right? Oh, that don't work. Man, of course it don't work. You think Michael Jordan threw his first three-pointer and then swished it? No, man. He spent hours on the court, years, all night long. And you know what happened? Then in the game, he made it look easy, right? So I'm telling you, if you want to become the best closer in the world, this is the basic foundation of closing. It's ethical. Cars are being made unbelievable now that have better benefits than older cars. It's the perfect time to learn this. And by the way, when you learn this, we can keep going to the next level and turn you into a master closer. And that's what it's about. So, we talked about dealer benefit. All right, let's go to credit card close here, okay? So, let's talk about, we got this last $19 left, right? And I could say this. Now remember, this is something you have to check with your management on. But it's a good question to ask your customer. Say, hey, Tony, so obviously, I mean, for $19, Tony, you didn't think you'd be buying, let's say you don't have a dealer benefit. Let's say you didn't think you'd be buying a new car for $19 more, Tony. But listen, let me ask you a question. Do you have a credit card right now?
Yeah.
Cool. What's your lowest balance on a credit card? What's the lowest balance you have?
Couple $100.
Cool. A couple hundred, like what, 300, 400?
About 3.
Cool. 300, what's the payment on it?
$25.
Cool. Let me ask you a question, Tony. If you didn't have that credit card and it was paid off, right? Could you afford the other 19?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be right back. Let me talk to my manager. If I can pay that credit card off, okay? If I can pay it off, and we can see what, if it's 300, 400, if we can pay that credit card off, guess what will happen? That payment will go away. My 19's good. Fair?
Yeah.
It's credit card close. If I said, Tony, what's your lowest balance on a credit card? Tony, like 5,000. I'm like, ugh, right? That maybe wouldn't have been the time to do it. But here's my point. Sometimes the credit card closes. You see how I asked a question? I didn't say, Tony, do you have a credit card? I said, yeah. Tony, do you have a credit card? Tony said, yeah. I said, hey, cool. I didn't say, what's the balances? I said, what's the lowest balance?
Right.
Okay? And then once he said, what's the lowest balance, then I would choose my purpose, which is, well, what's the payment on it? And then when he told me, then I told him my motive with it. Cool? That's a credit card close. And I'm going to tell you this. Your manager, if you walk back in and say, hey, guy, or hey, Mr. Manager, check this out. I've got him at $5.99. Your manager's like, dude, good job, man. You closed him at $5.99? Yeah, I got it. The only thing the customer's requesting, they have a $300 credit card, $400 credit card. It's on their bureau. The guy says it's a Cap 1 credit card. And he said if we would help pay it off, he could free up that payment and we'd be cool. Your manager will look at the bureau and say, yeah, we'll give him $400 back to do the $5.99 payment. Deal. And maybe you go back in there and say, hey, man, I need another $5. That's it. Hey, Tony, you got great news. We're going to do the deal. I just need $5 more than what I was going to ask you for. And guess what? That credit card's gone. Your new car's in your driveway. That's it. You close them down, okay? So I want you to understand this. This is basic principles, okay? It's very, very simple. It's actually common sense, but most people don't use common sense during closing. A lot of people use combativeness and they get nervous. Notice when Tony says no to me, I'm okay with it. I know this. I'm going to find benefits in my car. Money justification is finding areas that your car will save them money that you know they're already spending in other areas or would be and will be spending in other areas. Right. You don't always have to sell today. You can always sell in the future. Look, when they go into finance, right? I mean, I'm going to tell you this. On the car that they're buying, is it broken today? No. Then why do they buy extended warranties? Because they buy future. Why do you buy life insurance? In case you die. We all know a car is going to break down, right? Right. We all know gas is going to go up, right? Right. We all know we're going to die. There's some things that we have to buy. That's why we have salespeople, okay? To sell them. And the ones that do a better job selling them are the ones that make more money and more commission. And your customers are actually looking for reasons and excuses to say yes, and you're going to give them to them after this video, okay? You may have to watch this video 20 times. You may have to practice it, but guess what? This will take you there. All right, so the credit close. Let's just say, and I'm going to kind of back out of this for a second. I feel like we've kind of tore this board up here. So let me erase this, and this will give us a really good just kind of general idea on how credit close works for payment, okay? So let's say I say, hey, Tony, $5.99 sign here. Tony says, hey, I ain't going a penny over 500. You know, I'm just making a point. Let's say we're 100 away, okay? Let's just use an easy flat number. This is how to bump anybody $100, anyone, if they have less than perfect credit. So I say, hey Tony, all right, so 500 is all you're willing to pay, is that right?
Right.
Cool. I could try to get a commitment and go down, or what could I do? I could say this. So Tony, what you're saying, this is a hypothetical close here. If I can sell you the car at 500 a month, you take it home, right?
Right.
Cool. Tony, let's say that I shook your hand. Okay, I'm not saying I can, okay? But let's say I did, and I said that I could sell it to you for that.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, hypothetically, all right? Tony, you drive out of here today, and your car payment would be $500 a month. You got your brand new car. I know that's not as pretty as a car sitting out there, but you got your brand new car, and what are you?
I'm happy.
You're happy, right?
Right.
All right, cool. Now watch this. Let's just fast forward, and let's say you go 6 months down the road. Cool?
Okay.
Before you go to work, you look down there, and that's old TV, but you see, on the TV, you see the President of the United States. Okay?
Okay.
Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. He has the authority to do what I'm fixing to tell you. If he said, I'm going to give anybody the opportunity, I don't care how their credit is, and at this point, I may know a little bit about Tony's history, like Tony co-signed for his brother, and his brother screwed him, so that's why Tony's credit ain't great, right? Remember, I have a relationship with Tony, so I know that. Remember what you hear. Watch this. I say, Tony, kind of like how you co-sign for your brother. The President of the United States says, hey, if you co-sign for your brother or something, and he didn't make his payment, guess what? We're not worried about it. For $100 a month, if you mail $100 a month for 1 year to the White House, 1 year, you may think this is cheesy, but hold up. You have no idea the customers that have bought in cars and paid more. Number one, because it's true, but number two, because they're willing to pay money to build their credit, but they're not willing to pay any more for the car you have. Am I right? Why do you think people pay money to credit reestablishment companies, right? To try to clean their credit so that they can go buy stuff. It's because they're willing to pay money to get credit in return. And a lot of your people with less than perfect credit are willing to pay it. And how do they get that great credit? Well, cleaning your credit doesn't give you great credit. Starting an installment line with the nationwide lender that reports to all 3 bureaus, that builds credit. And what are you doing? You're going to build their credit. So I say, hey, Tony, the President of the United States said you bill $100 a month to the White House for 1 year. Okay? He would guarantee you to have perfect credit for the rest of your life. He don't care about your brother screwing you, that repo, all that stuff. For 1 year, $100. Hell, I'd do it. For perfect credit, would you do it?
I'd do it.
Hell, even if it was $150, I'd do it.
Yeah.
$200, I'd do it, right? Where do we stop getting perfect credit? Tony, you could have $10,000 cash in your pocket right now, and $10,000 cash won't get you perfect credit. Will you agree? Yes or no?
Right. I agree.
You need this. You need credit going to get good credit again, right or wrong?
Right.
So that would be worth another 100 to you, right?
Yes.
Cool. So let's look at Tony's budget now. Tony, let's check it out. So you bought my car. You're happy. You have the car in your driveway. You're paying $500 a month, right?
Right.
And then also, on the side, you're paying $100 a month for the next year to the White House to do what? Have perfect credit.
Right.
Tony, how much money are you paying a month to build your credit and drive the car?
$600.
That would be worth $600, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You guys got me? I mean, am I the only person that realized that Tony just got closed? Well, Tony, watch this. Tony, the great news is that's never going to happen. Okay? That's the bad news. Let me give you the good news. It just happened. Because you build your credit when you buy this car today and go through a nationwide lender, and guess what? Once you make 1 year of perfect payments on this vehicle, your credit will be different than it is today. Guess what? You have one or two choices. One, refinance the vehicle that you love, keep it. Guess what? Get a lower payment, better credit, better interest, right? Okay? Or two, come in here, trade it back in, buy a car of your dreams, and then get a lower payment with what? A better interest rate on a different vehicle. Either way, you'd be willing to pay for great credit, right? And for the car you love at $600.
Right.
You're paying $600 for great credit in the car you love, and just like this would never happen, but if it would, you would do it. On this one, pay $500 a month towards the car and $100 for your credit. Bottom line, at $600, you're getting both of them, Tony. Doesn't it make complete sense to trade? It gets you the credit, and in 1 year, make a promise to me. When I build your credit and you have the credit that you want for the rest of your life, you can buy anything you want. In a year from now, make a promise that when you're ready to do something, you'll come back and see me first. And just because I build your credit, you won't buy from someone else down the street. You'll give me first shot. Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right, done. Guys, that's it. Tony said no to the car, right? He said no to the car. I ain't paying $500 more than that. I got it. I understood that. Hey, I don't need to beat Tony up for that. But because I leveraged, which is part of closing, the fact that Tony has less than perfect credit, I said, hey, Tony, let me ask you a question. Let's say I could shake your hand. I pulled the hypothetical, and then guess what I did? I wrote it down, and then I told him 6 months from now, if this deal popped up, would he want to do it then? Hell, I would you? He says, yeah. All right, cool. So Tony's telling me that he'll pay more money, but just not for the car. He'll pay more money for his credit. But because I was able to get in and shut Tony's mind off about talking about this dang car deal for a minute, I was able to turn Tony's mind on to talking about credit with me for a second, which I knew was a sore spot for him because I knew what he told me about his brother early on, about how his brother screwed him. So guess what? You think Tony'd spend $100 to make that sore spot go away? Yeah, just not another 100 for the car. But now, when I said, would you do that? Yeah, for the credit in the car? He said, yeah. Now Tony's saying, yeah. You know what? Yeah, credit in car, 600. Well, guess what? I took it away and I said, yeah, credit in car, 600. There we go. So guys, with this all being said, it's pretty simple, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tony, guys, wherever you are in the world, you can decide to use any of these, all of these, or some of these. Most of you guys won't be good at one of these until you practice. But if you watch this video 100 times over, if you ask me, Andy, how do I dominate this? Give me instructions. Real simple. Go buy you a whiteboard. Go buy you a whiteboard. Watch this video. Literally do the same car, same payment structure, everything. Don't change anything. Because if you can do this same one when the car and the payment structure changes, it's okay. It still all works. You know what I'm saying? Tony could have told me he was spending 50 a week in gas, 20 a week in gas, 100 a week in gas. It doesn't matter. My car still gets double the gas mileage, still going to go in. My car could have got a third of the gas mileage. It's still going to change the payment. We're still going to be scooping up money. So my idea of it is that you just need to understand the funnel and the process. And when you understand the funnel and the process, then guess what? When you get to the drawing table, you're like, all right, I understand. How close to this can you pay? What are you paying now? Let me show you how affordable your new car is. This is our old car. Right. This is the new car. This is how much more you said you could pay. Tony, what are you roughly spending a week in gas? Man, it's like, here we go, man. And it's just in your blood and it's in your heart and it's your foundation. This is the foundation to closing in the automotive sales business, car sales. And before we shut this off, let me remind you one more time. 918-210-0254. That's my cell phone. I'm going to give away 3 of the 0 to 100,000 Fast car sales training programs. All I need from you, send me a video, right, to my cell phone, 1 minute or less. It'll be easy to send through a cell phone because it won't be too big to send, telling me why you need the course, okay? And guess what? If we love it and we feel like you're the dude or you're the girl out there, the woman that needs it, guess what? There you go. Everybody needs the course. Everybody's killing it with the course. I know that. But we want to send out 3 free courses. So send us the videos. Guys, we hope you love this. And then we'll see you in video training 3, right?